Hello, end of October 2022. Still here on Mother Earth watching the planets as they travel or appear to travel around us. Focusing this week in a big way on transiting Mars, which has been slowly turning retrograde in motion and is now traveling backwards from our vantage point on Earth, and all the things that Mars symbolizes in our lives: war, weaponry, aggression, anger, our work, anything connected to our work and our employment. Mars is many things, and all of these Mars things, of course, will be drawing a lot of attention for the next 3 months, as Mars will be retrograde for that long period. Uranus is halfway through Taurus. It's been traveling in Taurus for many years now. It takes 7 years per sign to travel through. Pluto's at late Capricorn, Saturn's halfway through Aquarius, Neptune's still in Pisces, where it has been for some years. Jupiter was in Pisces through most of 2020. And Jupiter brings a wave of increased energy and enlargement to everything it travels through. So Jupiter traveling in Pisces, we saw an enlargement, a big wave of Jupiter energy affecting and drawing our attention in our lives to Pisces things: health issues, the pandemic, health systems, drugs, alcohol, isolation. Pisces is all of these things. It's also the artistic side of life: illusion and imagination and music and entertainment. It is also the media. Again, it's the sign of illusion and suffering. So Jupiter through Pisces, we've seen a great deal of suffering in the world, and we've seen a great deal of focus on what is wrong, as well as no doubt on what is correct and right in our Pisces systems. Excesses with drugs, with the opiates, was certainly a big part of this transit. Jupiter entered Aries in May of this year. We saw a big wave of focus and increased interest and energy on the war in the Ukraine at that point. Aries is war and weaponry and our work, our employment. So Jupiter traveling through Aries brought an increase and an enlargement, a wave of energy into these Aries things. But Jupiter is now, end of October, retrograding back out of Aries, back into Pisces. So for 2 more months, we have Jupiter still influencing Pisces things in our world. We would expect another wave of difficulty affecting our health and our health systems. All of these Pisces things. Again, a lot of suffering this winter. And with Mars retrograde and Jupiter back in Pisces, this is especially so. We also have Uranus continuing to transit in Taurus, setting us up for sudden dramatic changes in the Taurus things in our life. And Taurus is our finances, it's our materiality, it's nature, and it's women's issues. So change, sudden dramatic change connected to freedoms and connected to issues with these Taurus things are set up for the potential for sudden change through these years and continuing for the next 2 years. Again, 7 years Uranus is in that sign of Taurus. Jupiter's back in Pisces for 2 months. In the end of December, it re-enters Aries. So from Aries until May, it's going through Aries very fast. And from Aries, from the beginning of January until the end of May 2023, as Jupiter's traveling through Aries and as Mars continues retrograde, this should be, and we would expect it to be, a great deal of focus on issues around the war, weaponry, people's employment. Aries things are going to draw a great deal of attention and be filled with energy once again. In May, Jupiter enters Taurus, and that's what I wanted really to talk about today, was the transit of Jupiter through the sign Taurus. Jupiter goes through Taurus once every 12 years. But the last time it was in Taurus, simultaneously with Uranus being in Taurus, was over 80 years ago. Just prior to the last Great Depression on the planet. 1929 crash into the early 30s. Uranus was in Taurus and Jupiter was in Taurus during those years together. So what is the path of Jupiter going to mean going through Taurus? Well, this wave of growth energy, expanding energy and focus will shift from Aries things to Taurus things. Does that mean at the end of May this war is over with? And that we're starting to see a focus on rebuilding after this tremendous, wasteful destruction? Very possible. We can certainly hope. Jupiter will have 1 year in Taurus. Taurus is again materiality, it's nature, it's women's issues, it's finances. So as we are expecting and experiencing sudden changes affecting nature and potentially affecting our finances during these years, when Jupiter enters Taurus later in 2023 and joins Uranus there, that potential increases in multiple ways. Jupiter is the planet of growth, of abundance, of prosperity. I think of Jupiter as the Santa Claus of the zodiac, jolly and large and gift-giving, overdoing it, tendency to party and go overboard with things. Santa Claus, this is Jupiter. So overdoing in excesses and overdoing in optimism, we see that side of Jupiter as well as the positive side of Jupiter, which is the positive side of optimism and prosperity and growth. In the sign Taurus, we can potentially see some excessive Taurus things. So some excessive pleasure seeking, some excessive focus on profit and buying nice things and experiencing pleasures and extravagances, living high while one can before the world is over with, that type of attitude. Everybody partying and having a good time, well, they're still here. Again, that kind of attitude. That's very possible when Jupiter is going through Taurus. And again, it's interesting to look at the history of this. In 1929, the stock markets crashed dramatically in New York City. And of course, that reflected the beginning of this huge world depression. And the year prior to that happening, Jupiter was in Taurus, and there was this big splurge going on in lifestyle, in pleasure seeking, and in investment in the stock market. Which of course led to this crazy excessive time and the dramatic crash. So the two are back in Taurus again after May of 2023 for 1 year. During the month of April 2024, just before Jupiter leaves Taurus, these two planets will be actually conjunct, right beside each other, sharing the same space in that sign. So April of 2024, I would be very, very careful with any investments in the stock market. I would be very careful with any investments, period, because it would be a very precarious time potentially for the world and the world's finances. Now, women's issues may also be a big part of this. Because when Uranus is in Taurus, we see historically that focus. Remember, Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of females. So when both Jupiter and Uranus are in Taurus, it's notable and interesting that during the summer next year, 2023, Venus, the planet of females, will be retrograde for 3 months. So during the summer and early fall of 2023, there'll be a splurge of interest going on and focus on women's issues. And this whole year, May 23 until May 24, we can potentially see a big focus on rebuilding and profit and an appearance of things, of having a good time. Take good care and maybe try not to overdo it during those periods. Another point, when Jupiter's in Taurus, people who are born with the sun in Taurus or their birth planets in Taurus are going to benefit from Jupiter's presence there. It's like having a relative visit. Once every 12 years, and for a whole year, Jupiter stays with you. And Jupiter brings presents. Jupiter brings the tendency to party too much and indulge yourself too much, and it helps you do that. It brings in opportunity and ability for growth and expansion in all different areas of your life, often too much so, leading to difficulties. But if you're having a hard time and you see transits of Jupiter coming along, that usually means you're going to have some relief, some help. It's like a cushion. So Jupiter's considered the good guy in astrology, along with Venus. And Jupiter tends to bring either seed energy for positive things into the sign and the things of the sign it's traveling through for the world and in your own chart, or overindulgence. Brings in opportunity and expansion for growth, beneficial energies. Can also take that too far very, very easily. Take care. Bye for now.